Assalamu alaikum. I'm Iman Khan, and I'm going to read again from the book for children. Tell me about the Prophet Muhammad, what the Prophet's message is, why his life is so important, and what he teaches me. This time, we're going to start with the pledge, a leader of men. Even as a boy, Muhammad, peace be upon him, was concerned about his fellow men. One day, a trader from Yemen had his goods stolen by a group of wicked Meccans. The trader called out for help, but no one came forth. So the trader wrote a poem that made fun of the Meccans' bad behavior, and recited it out loud in public for all to hear. When Zubair, one of Muhammad's uncles, heard this poem, he felt ashamed. Zubair called the city elders to a meeting, and an organization was formed to protect the oppressed people of Mecca. This included foreign visitors, as well as people who had always lived there. Muhammad, peace be upon him, became an enthusiastic member of the group called Hilf al-Fudul, who pledged themselves to be courteous and considerate towards others, especially those weaker than themselves. Many years later, Muhammad, peace be upon him, still kept his promise to Hilf al-Fudul, saying, "I am not prepared to break my promise, even against a herd of camels, if somebody should appeal to me even today. By virtue of that pledge I would hurry to help." The Prophet Muhammad's sense of justice, his prompt understanding of problems, and his real interest in his fellow men combined to make him a better leader. He always relied upon to judge fairly, and was more and more sought out to help settle disputes. His fame got a mighty boost from an incident that took place when Muhammad, peace be upon him, was not more than 35 years old. The Kaaba caught fire and burned to the ground. All the tribes of Mecca took part in repairing it and building it up again, but when it was time to put back the sacred black stone, first laid by the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, there was a crisis. Each of the four leading families of Mecca claimed that they alone should have that honor. Finally it was agreed that the first man to enter the courtyard of the Kaaba would settle the issue. That man was Muhammad, peace be upon him. It seemed like a problem which could be solved, but Muhammad, peace be upon him, had a simple idea that saved the honor of everyone concerned. He spread out a white sheet on the ground and placed the sacred stone in its center. Then he instructed the elders of each clan to lift a corner of the sheet and carry the stone to its site. Then Muhammad, peace be upon him, the peacemaker, fixed the stone in its place with his own hands. Let me talk a little bit about what the black stone is. The black stone. At the eastern corner of the Kaaba, about 5 feet above the ground, there is an oval black stone of about 18 centimeters in diameter fixed in the wall. This stone was originally set there by the Prophet Ibrahim, peace be upon him, to mark the spot from which to begin the Tawaf of the Kaaba. This is the only relic of the original building. Let's talk a little bit about the strength of character. There was an old Meccan woman who hated the Prophet, peace be upon him. Every morning when he passed by her house, she would empty a basket of rubbish on his head and from the upper story of her house. He never grumbled or said anything to her. One day she was ill and in bed. When he passed that way, surprised there was no rubbish that had been emptied on his head. He thought, she must be ill, and went upstairs to inquire how she was. The woman was very frightened. She thought he had come to quarrel with her. When he said he had come to inquire after her health, she began to cry. "What a good man you are," she sobbed. "I'll treat you and your inquire after my health. Teach me your religion. Teach me your way of life." So, as you can see, she said she was moved by the way the Prophet Muhammad, when he came after she had thrown rubbish on his head and treated him so badly, that the move of the Prophet to check on her well-being, being that he saw no rubbish coming down on his head, changed her mind and broke her down to cry, and that's why she said, I ill-treat you, and you inquire after my health. Teach me your religion, teach me your way of life. So I guess a good lesson there would be that even if others reject you or treat you poorly, you should always show kindness, patience, and be forgiving, so that you set a better example that maybe will help them see a better way of being. Anyways, that's where I'm going to leave off for now. And until next time, I'll be reading what's called The Search for Truth. Wa alaikum salam.